can't even imagine how much that costs.
You can tell me next slide and I'll.
Okay, and this is the slideshow up in front now. Okay, yeah, so, yeah, I've only got about 30 minutes of material here.
Okay.
Just kidding.
Total? We'll be fine.
Since you have 5 minutes, you can
Like
go
that?
look at this link. Oh, I hope no one can see that. Do you guys see the link I put in the chat?
No.
Hold on.
I can't even find my chat. Hi, I'm Tracy Truelove with the Pitkin County COVID response. And joining me today for our community meeting, which is happening right now, is John Peacock, the county manager for Pitkin County, and Kara Silvernagle, who is the policy and project manager for Pitkin County. And really today we're just here to provide you an update on what this week meant for Pitkin County as far as the change in the Pitkin County order, so the public health order. So John, I'm going to start with you, and I think we're going to go to Kara from there, and then we're going to turn around and close with me just sharing some information we think would be great for the community to have.
All right. Thank you, Tracy. Again, I'm John Peacock, Pitkin County Manager. So I want to start off with a thank you to the community. We've done an amazing job together of preventing the spread of COVID-19, but our efforts have been difficult. They've led to unprecedented social and economic disruptions, real changes to our everyday lives. And staying in these strict public health orders that have allowed us to suppress the virus isn't sustainable. As a community, we need to pivot. We need to learn how to live with the virus, to prevent the spread of the virus while we move to more normal levels of social and economic activity. And so to help chart a safe course, Pitkin County has developed a roadmap to recovery so that we can have a vision not only of how we safely reintroduce activities and jobs, but what data we'll be looking at to ensure that we're doing so in a safe way. Can you go ahead and forward the slide, Tracy? The Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment last week granted Pitkin County a variance to the governor's safer at home order. The Pitkin County commissioners had applied for the variance in order to be able to follow Pitkin County's roadmap to reopening based on local data about the spread of COVID-19 and the impacts of COVID-19. The variance will allow Pitkin County to begin incrementally implementing phase 2 of the roadmap. You go ahead and advance, Tracy. If Pitkin County exceeds 18 new cases in 1 week, the variance that allows us to pursue the roadmap and reintroduce some of the activities that we're going to talk more about with you today will be rescinded. So as a community, while we've done an excellent job of suppressing the virus, as we reintroduce activities, and in order to continue our success as we reopen, we really need our community and our visitors to remain vigilant about preventing the spread of COVID-19 and to adhere to these 5 commitments of containment: maintaining 6 feet of social distance, washing your hands and practicing good hygiene, wearing face coverings in public places, staying home when you're sick. We cannot emphasize this enough. If you're sick, stay home. Don't go to the restaurant. Don't go to work. Stay home and take on this 5th commitment, which is getting tested immediately when symptomatic. We'll have more information on both of these coming up. So while most of the county's variance requests, including the opening of restaurants in a limited fashion, was approved, CDPHE did stop short of approving the opening of bars, concert halls, and music venues. But there's a lot that the state has approved us beginning to reopen in a very structured way. And that includes lodging. Yesterday, lodging was allowed to open at 50% daily capacity with a COVID-19 safety plan to include sector-specific guidance. Restaurants were allowed to open also, again, under safety plan guidelines that require physical distancing. and they are also allowed to open at 50% of the facility's indoor capacity, but outdoor seating is also allowed with physical distancing, and that is not counted against that indoor capacity. Groups and events, the state approved the county having a maximum group or event size of 50. However, gatherings of over 10 people are still prohibited unless a county or municipal event permit has been issued, and unless that event has an approved COVID-19 safety plan. Informal gatherings, those house parties or such, will remain limited to 10 or fewer people. Again, we're going to be looking at developing guidelines. We're going to talk a little bit about the timelines for those coming up, but we don't expect to see groups or events of 50 or more people until later in June. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the task forces that the county has put together, but it's very, very important to note that the implementing the county's roadmap to reopening is going to be an incremental process. We're going to introduce new activities as guidelines are developed and safety standards are established. And we're going to be continuing to look at 5 criteria that will let us know if we are able to continue introducing new activities. The first is that the county sees a sustained decrease in the number of new COVID-19 cases for at least 14 days. We meet that criteria right now. That the hospital is safely able to treat patients without being at risk of resorting to crisis standards of care. That testing is performed for all people with symptoms consistent with COVID-19. That there's active and timely monitoring for all COVID-19 cases and their contacts, and that we continue to have clear protocols in place that require social distancing and ensure that we're limiting or preventing the spread of the virus as we introduce these new levels of activities. We're going to be watching the measures, and later on in the presentation today, you'll see where you can go on our website to see how we're doing specifically on these different criteria. I want to transition now and hand this over to Kara, who is going to talk in a little bit more detail about how we're evaluating and prioritizing different sectors that are being reintroduced, and our timeline for the task forces that are going to be developing the sector-specific guidance. Thanks. Kara, to you.
Thank you, John. Again, my name is Kara Silbernagle. I'm Policy and Project Manager at Pitkin County, and I've been working with the Business Liaison Group as we start to look at what reopening means and how we can work with our different sectors throughout these phases. So as John alluded to, within phase 2, we're really taking this measured approach of how we're opening each of the sectors. And this chart, we're really basing how each element is opening on this risk factor. What are the number of contacts and the contact intensity? And that's really what's going to be how we get through this together and how we ensure that we maintain our safe community and our brand for the future of our community. And so using this, you can see a lot of elements that open in phase 1, the offices, the personal services, the golf. It really falls more into those lower categories, lower contact and lower contact intensity. And now as we start to move into phase 2, we get a little bit more spread out of where those different sectors fall, from events and more the higher risk to places of worship, and gyms to really kind of being up there in this more moderate to high. And so with that, we've calculated how do we start to move forward, continue to reopen for our economy, for our social community, and then also be balancing our entire public health together. So, Tracy?
Yeah. Oh,
Perfect. So what we're doing is we're taking a phase within a phase within phase two for everyone to be able to work together with. I think it's really important that we all see these timelines so we know when are things going to open, when is the guidance going to come together so our community knows what everyone is adhering to, and also just provides an outline of how we continue to move through this together in this measured approach. So as John alluded to, restaurants and lodging opened yesterday at 50% capacity, and that gathering size is still limited to 10 people. As we start to look forward to Monday, June 1st, we have the next phase that is opening. The summer day camps, the state of Colorado released guidance earlier this week, so that is able to open on June 1st, as well as outdoor recreation, so the playgrounds, the skate parks, some of the tennis courts. We have new guidance that is going to be out around that. That is also available to open up on June 1st. And some non-essential services related to outfitters and guides that had not been open before are able to open on June 1st. And all the guidance for June 1st opening is now available on our website. And it's really important for people to remember as we're walking through these guidances, there's the fundamental of how we're protecting one another and ourselves. And we're going to keep maintaining these principles of how are you maintaining your employees' health? How are you maintaining physical distance in the workplace? How are you maintaining clean hands and cleaning hands frequently? Increasing disinfection and sanitization, reducing those contact points. Those are risk factors. And then reducing the exposure in transportation. It doesn't matter which sector you are. Those are going to be fundamental as we continue to move through. And so looking ahead, the next few weeks, we have a calendar of every week we'll do these rolling openings where on June 8th, the gyms and fitness centers, as well as the recreation centers will be opening and places of worship. The following week will be public transportation and theaters. And again, all of these bullets represent those task force. So we aren't sure what it looks like yet. We're developing that guidance. We're working within those task force. But this is the plan and the schedule that we can all know that we're working towards together. And then on June 22nd, as John alluded to, is when we'll be looking at opening events up to 50 people per our public health order. And it's really important that all those events are still going to be subject to the same local jurisdiction special event permitting. So there's going to be all of the COVID responsibilities are going to be integrated within those permit requirements. And so any event still needs to work with the local jurisdiction. And then after that, we'll look at phase 3, and it's all going to be based on that 5 criteria that John alluded to. So it's important to remember as we move through these, it's the 5 commitments, and it's how we help each other move through this together, how we are accountable to one another, and how we make sure we're safe so we can keep rolling into these future phases. With that, I'll hand it over to Tracy.
Oh, didn't change there. So we have a lot of questions that come in about, like, what does this mean for me? And we're sharing this slide with you that really was a brain trust coming from, the team at the city and the ACRA team and a bunch of folks who are just trying to figure out how we are a community that not only those of us that live in the Roaring Fork Valley are part of, but how our visitors participate in this with us, because we know with lodging coming open, that's going to bring a lot more visitors to our door. So I kind of like the idea of thinking about how, again, there's got to be unity in how we support the businesses that are working really hard to reopen. So again, what does this phase of the public health order mean to me? It's back to those 5 commitments of containment. And again, one of them being the mask requirement. We know that Aspen City Council has extended that date to June 17th. Basalt has extended it to June 23rd. And again, we have a little detail around what that requirement looks like. Non-medical cloth face coverings that cover the nose and mouth are required to be worn in all buildings, public and private, that are open to the public. Face coverings are required to be worn outside whenever there is a risk of being within 6 feet of another person who is not of the same household for more than 10 minutes. Children who are under the age of 2 years and anyone who has trouble breathing or is unconscious, incapacitated, or otherwise unable to remove the mask without assistance are exempt from this requirement. So we know there's been some real concern around the face mask conversation, but again, if we don't take on that personal responsibility to do these things to help the restaurant that's trying to get open, we're really putting everything we're doing from lifting suppression at risk. So again, we know this can be frustrating for some folks, but it's really, again, trying to take care of ourselves and each other. We talked a little bit about the testing, and I always want to just reiterate, the testing is open to not only our community members, but visitors that are now arriving in Pitkin County. So if you haven't gone to see the video we put together around the airport and all the steps they're taking to be a safe space for people to arrive in, it's a really fantastic video. It's on our website. But it's again important to know that if you're here visiting, that they can also go to Aspen Valley Hospital. The number's on this slide and it's on our website, but that's 970-279-4111. If you are feeling symptoms, and we list out kind of what those are in many places, but don't hesitate to go and be tested, because again, we have the public health team working really hard on infrastructure to support what we've been talking about as the box and in strategy. And that's the one way, as we invite visitors back into our community, we're going to be able to track and keep up with this. Whoops. See, I shouldn't touch things, you guys. Okay. Again, you heard about the roadmap to reopening. We're trying to offer some more specifics in there, but again, a lot of this information is coming at us, and we're playing catch up a little bit to get all the information out to you. So we really just ask for a level of patience with this. And also, I think what we're going to do here is walk you through the new website a little bit, because the more you know where the information is and you can go find it, you're going to feel a lot more confident in the steps that are being taken in support of this slow, steady, phased reopening. So again, the website is pitkincounty.com. There's a tab right on the front page that's the COVID-19 tab, and it'll take you right into the website. Kara, I think if you want to drive now and give the demonstration on the website, I think that would be really helpful. So do I stop sharing probably? Stop sharing, okay. Oh, Andrew took care of it. Great.
Okay. There we go. Okay. So as Tracy mentioned, the new website is, if you're at pitkincounty.com, there is a big tab at the front. It's the COVID. It's also pitkincounty.com/COVID-19. It's redirecting everything to this new website and landing page. And we're really using this to share the information and also share the resources so that we can all be using the same information as we continue to go through this with the visitors that are coming in and our community, and how do we just keep all of one another informed as we move forward. So a couple of things we just wanted to walk through is, I know that the timeline was just up on the PowerPoint, but if anyone has any questions, we have the roadmap has been revised on the website, as well as we have the timeline. It is right up here on the homepage, so people can see which sectors are within which dates and what to expect when it's coming out. And within there, we've also created links direct to the guidelines as they're being developed for each sector. So really, all the information that we're working on a week-by-week basis will be up here, and people can stay informed in that way. As we look towards reopening, we are also really building out this business resources information. And so this business resources tab really is going to become the homepage for a lot of the information a lot of businesses are seeking as they open. We had a town hall on Tuesday to do some Q&A. We've learned a lot in those past 48 hours, so things are continuing to evolve. But you can see any of the guidelines by sector are in here, right, available for anyone. And we have the ones that are open, that are eligible to open on Monday, June 1st. We've got summer camps, and it has all the information you need, as well as non-critical services and the information for and guidance for outfitters and guides. And it's really important to remember anyone that's eligible to open needs to complete their business safety plan checklist, and you just can click on the button right here and it'll take you straight to the form. I think another good thing that we wanted to share that we've been working on really closely with the communications team is we're building out this communications resources. So as Tracy shared some fantastic posters about what it means to be wearing face coverings in our community and how do we communicate that with all of our visitors and patrons, all of those assets are available on our webpage for anyone to download. You can take the 5 commitments, post it in your business, post it in your employee break room. We have information about, again, the mask guidelines and also information about how to get tested. And we'll continue to build this out, as well as, very importantly, the mental health resources too. And we'll be continuing to build this out and encourage all businesses, no matter what, to look at this and see what might be a good fit for your patrons and your employees. And then I won't go through the whole website, but another piece just to the point that John hit on is the COVID stats. This is our new data dashboard that hopefully will come up. Test it. That gives you a live update of where we are with all of our information, how we're monitoring across those 5 criteria. And so this is updated daily, and people can really see where we are and how we're continuing to move through this reopening phase. So with that, I will hand it back to you, Tracy.
Yeah, I'd like to add to what Kara's talking about as well. Those sector-specific groups have been helping a lot with guidance and input. And I know one that I met with yesterday, again, was the tourism group that's really having to push information out. And so just know that there's constantly information being developed. You're going to see that we'll update here quite frequently. And if you can't find it, I think emailing our business liaison email, for information that you might want that we don't have would be really helpful. I also know that that sector-specific team is looking for anybody in those kinds of businesses that want to participate to reach out to that email as well and share your contact information with us so that we can get you plugged into those groups. So that's another important part of this continued engagement that we're trying to do around COVID as we move forward. So I think we touched on everything. The only thing I had was one more slide that, again, you've seen several times, but it's where all the places are that you can sync information. The website really has become very robust, and so I encourage people seeking to start there. Also, the public health Facebook page has a tremendous amount of engagement, and we have a really active team who I can't say enough about their dedication to trying to provide you answers. Sometimes we don't have them. I mean, it's fair to say that we're trying, and we know there's a level of frustration that happens, but we'll definitely go look for it, and we're seeking it. And if we don't have it, we're going to let you know that as well. But we're still really working towards being able to help answer those questions that you have. I'm going to back up one more time and talk about the getting out into the community and supporting these places that are coming online. If you have questions, get into that dialogue so you understand what's expected of you if you don't know. I had to ask the question today. If I want to go out to dinner, which I haven't done in a long time with my family, you wear your mask there, you get seated. Of course, we were talking about that might be a good way to not eat as much as to keep your mask on. Those of you that's been in quarantine for a while, it gets kind of rough. But really, you're able to sit down with your group, you're able to take off your mask. But then again, if you're going to get up in the restaurant to go use the facilities, you need to put your mask back on. So it's just, there's a lot of common sense we're asking for around it, but it doesn't feel that common, right? And so just know that it's okay to ask the questions. It's okay to send them into our team, and we'll try to help get the answers you are seeking. With that, I don't have any more slides. It was kind of a fast update. We are definitely trying to get into a cadence of meetings moving forward that makes sense, and that we're not, death by meeting. I talk about that a lot. I know we're all doing a lot of them, but there's a lot of work to be done, and I think we're going to try to slow down a little bit again our cadence of the community meeting and the board meetings. And so our website posts that information right on the front page. You can find what we have going on. So again, I encourage you to use that resource to kind of look if you haven't been able to find it or if we haven't pushed out publicity around what that is. So with that said, I'm going to leave it up to you guys. Is there anything else you want to add before we close?
I just reiterate. Oh, go ahead, Kara.
I was just going to reiterate to Tracy's point, to any business in that timeline that you want to be a part of those sector groups and be involved, please reach out to Business Liaison. We're capturing that and working with all those individuals. So we ask for your engagement because we're learning. We don't know your business, you know it, and we're relying on your help.
And I just want to reiterate the thank you to the community. We've been successful because of what individuals and families have done to prevent the spread of this virus. As we reintroduce activities, we need to double down on that commitment, those 5 commitments to contain the virus. And we'll be able to learn how to successfully live with this until there is an effective medical intervention that allows us to get rid of it. So thank you. The efforts matter. They're allowing us to move forward, and please keep it up, and let's help remind our visitors to keep it up with us. And Tracy, thank you for moderating us today.
You bet. Thank you also to Andrew from the county IT team and GrassRoots for being here to support us. We appreciate that. Everybody be well, stay healthy, and look for us probably be back next week.